morning, everybody, and welcome to Picks on Politics. I'm Dan Manarino, and this morning I am joined by New York City Mayor Eric Adams. So, Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here. Welcome back to Picks on Politics. There's a lot to get into.
Yes.
So let's jump right in. I want to begin with your statements last week. They're getting a lot of attention, as I'm sure you are well aware. We just heard it in the show open that the migrant crisis could destroy New York City. When you say the word destroy, what exactly are you referencing here to help clarify those remarks?
I have to be honest with New Yorkers on what we're about to experience, the financial typhoon, the tsunami that I don't think this city has ever experienced. Number one, the economic challenges, $12 billion. Every service in this city is going to be impacted, from child service to our seniors to our housing plan. Everything will be impacted. And we have a fiscal cliff that's about to hit us on the federal government. Second, the migrants. This is wrong for the migrants. We're going to have to eventually move women and children into congregate settings. Some migrants may have to move out into just outside tents. This is wrong what we're doing to them, not allowing them to work and provide for themselves. Public safety. We saw what happened in the 83rd Precinct yesterday with the big scuffle that happened there. Every area of our city is going to be impacted, and it could undermine everything we have done.
I think when people heard that word destroy, they were quick to pounce on those remarks. In fact, I want to just get a statement from the Legal Aid Society. They came out shortly after your remarks, and take a look right here. They called them reckless and unproductive fear-mongering. The mayor's dystopian comments dehumanize and villainize people who fled unimaginable situations in their home countries for an opportunity to provide for their families. I want to give you a chance to respond to that.
Well, you know, listen, they're going to advocate, they're going to use terminologies to define the reality that I'm facing. This is not an academic exercise. This is not a utopia. New York City cannot manage 10,000 people a month with no end in sight. That can't happen, and that is going to undermine this entire city.
So let's talk about then the impact on everyday New Yorkers, right? The $12 billion price tag has been thrown around over the next couple of years, and you're talking about every single department being cut. That is a broad statement. Can you zero in on maybe something a little more direct, that a service that may be cut, and how soon people might see it?
Well, we're going to give a financial overview. I sat down, I was briefed by Jacques Jihad, my budget director, and we're going to reveal to the entire city, each agency, what we're asking. Every agency is going to have to do a 5% PEG program to eliminate the gap, finding efficiencies. We did 2 rounds of that already, and we're going to show New Yorkers exactly what we're faced with, because transparency is crucial here. I have to be honest to New Yorkers what we are up against.
Are you talking about emergency personnel as well?
Everything is on the table now. You know, think about this for a moment. We're talking $12 billion. $12 billion of running our city. Sanitation, police, education, libraries, everything that we have to run the city. There's a minimum amount of money that comes in that we have to address this crisis. That's a national crisis, and we've been ignored.
What's a timeline then for cuts?
This is going to be in the next round of budget. We have to do a budget modification in November, where we have to account for the money that is going to be needed, and we have to do it 2 years out. We have to announce our budgets every 2 years out.
So we've already heard the term, we're off the cliff, the shelters are at capacity. You're talking about tents, right? And there's a lot of chatter about the term right to shelter and sanctuary city, right? And in fact, your deputy mayor, Isom, came out last week and was talking about how cities like Chicago and Philadelphia were saying after day 30, go to New York. So what do you think then of the right to shelter? Do you want to drop that status?
The Corp Counsel, Judge Sylvia Hines Radix, she's in court now to look at the complete conversation around how do we manage this crisis. And I'm going to leave it up to her as the Corp Counsel to, argue these cases in court. It's going to be her determination what's the best route.
But what do you think? As the mayor, what do you think of the right to shelter? Should it exist? We're the only city in America.
No, it's more than that, Dan. Think about this for a moment. We're saying that you could come from anywhere on the globe, come to New York City, and we are to food, house, clothe you for as long as you want, forever. That's not realistic. It's not sustainable. And that is what we're seeing now. That needs to be re-examined.
And so in the court system, besides the right to shelter, is there a point where you say, we're done? We can't take anymore. The doors are closed.
We'd love to, but it's against the law for me to do that. I don't have the legal authority to tell people they can leave, only the federal government to do that. It's against the law to tell buses that you can't come in. Many New Yorkers don't realize that the laws prevent me to say, we don't have any more room, you can't come to the city. I would love to do that because that's the humane thing to do, because it's wrong to have people come to the city and treat them in the manner in which we're doing, and it's wrong for New Yorkers to have to experience this.
Should those laws be changed?
Yes, yes. We need to re-examine the founding fathers of the whole concept of how you house people. They did not have in mind that 110,000 people are going to come to the city, 10,000 a month, 2,900 a week. This is not sustainable. I've said this for some time now. It's not sustainable. And I also said this is going to come to neighborhoods near you. We're now at that moment.
And so there's been a lot of talk about the federal aid. We know that it has not arrived. You and the governor have been calling on the federal government to send money this way. But do you almost blame the president for the open border policy? Do you think that should change?
Well, we need to have a policy, I believe, of staying in Mexico or any of the bordering localities until you are allowed into. So I believe stay in place is the way we need to be thinking until you're allowed in. But the problem is also not only what the federal government should do, the state needs to play their role also. The decompression strategy should go throughout the whole state. New York City is the economic engine of the state. This should not be a New York City residents only problem.
So, and you've obviously spoken to the governor about that.
Yes.
Has it fractured the relationship between the two of you?
No, you know, and I think that the clarity must be the governor and I have worked on some amazing things together.
Right, but you disagree on this.
On this, right. I believe this should be managed by the state. The decompression strategy should be over the state and over the country. That is where I believe we disagree at. And we will find ways. She secured $1 billion for us in the last budget. We're looking to get another $1 billion again. But we're talking about a $12 billion deficit that's falling on the backs of New Yorkers.
When you talk about the politics of it all, right, your words now being used on the Republican side of things, we're in an election cycle, right? Speaker Kevin McCarthy sounding off in statements on social media saying, I agree with the mayor. You have other Republicans coming out using your words from the other day as almost their campaign slogans now. What do you think of that?
I have one role here, to protect the people of this city. I was hired to be the mayor. I was elected to be the mayor of the city of New York. My city is hurting. This could undermine this entire city. My children, my families, the long-term impact to migrants who are not getting the proper treatment they deserve, the cuts in services to the children of this city, my elders, my seniors, my housing. And so if people want to politicize this, it was the Trump Republicans that prevented real immigration law. They want to be accurate. They have a great deal of blame to this, but I'm not going to lie to the people of this city on the danger we're in right now.
And lastly, before we squeeze in a commercial break, do you think this is going to hurt Democrats' chances if there's not a solution when it comes to the House races?
They have their consultants and advisors. I think that it's imperative that we look at this and show that we can govern and lead during this difficult time. And right now, New York City is carrying the weight of a national problem with little or no help.
All right, Mayor Adams not going anywhere. There's a lot more to talk about in terms of education and safety in this city. More with Mayor Eric Adams right after the break. You're watching Picks on Politics.